So what was the two things? It was shrove.
So you have a bit like your microphone company, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, rude.
Good one. Yes.
Yeah. So you have a Shrove Tuesday and Ash Wednesday.
Okay.
And
so
that gives you your...
ash, and then it's
and
gold, myrrh, and
Frankenstein.
Yes. So that's the 5 day of the week. So yeah.
Yeah.
That poor baby. Yeah. No, we have skipped all the rest of them. We have kept what we call Fat Tuesday, what you call Schrödinger's day, whatever. Where we stuff our faces as much as we can, but then we skip the fasting. We just go on as normal.
Well, you don't have to fast. You just have to give something up for Lent.
No,
I don't do that either. No, I just
pocket lint.
I just go for the pancakes. You know, it's like the lowest bar of entry to all sort of religious festivals, really, isn't it? Yeah.
But if I understand you, then Phil, then Pancake Tuesday is a recurring event, so it's every Tuesday.
I wish it was every Tuesday, but no.
I mean, you can make it any Tuesday.
You certainly could, yeah. I don't see why not.
My kids would that. Every day is a pancake day, if you ask my kids.
So I'm just writing down Fat Tuesday. I've got to report back.
Yeah.
On the International Day of Pancakes or whatever.
The thing that I took from it was you had 3 choices of topping, and none of them matched what I do. I mean, it was lemon and sugar was one of them.
Yep, that's the traditional topping. Yeah.
Sugar I kind of get, but the lemon not as much. And then the 2 others was like Mars and Pluto. Never been there.
Well, I've encountered the lemon thing on pancakes or the lemon squeeze, but yeah, that's weird to me.
Yeah, but not weirder than I'm gonna try it next time, just for the hell of it.
It's a sensation. It's sour yet sweet. It's
yeah. I'm fully on board. Yeah.
No, I'm just sour.
If grumpy were a taste, then yes.
Exactly. Just sucking lemons.
Oh, that was stupid.
But am I hallucinating, or did I hear a 4th voice?
Yeah.
I am haunting you guys. I'm planning an invasion.
Yeah, well, if you are, can you bring my chairs?
I was going to ask you, like, I still have them, and do you still have that spare sheet of MDF?
I do.
So we can do a trade.
The problem is I don't have a car with a trailer hitch anymore, and the sheet is 3 times the size of my car now. So, but we'll figure it out.
Your car is shrinking?
Yes. I traded in the Pandora's box of workshop needs with a smaller Suzuki. So yeah, I'm a big guy with a small car now. It's kind of fun.
Keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
It's very good on fuel and requires absolutely no ego to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we can talk about the car. That was war, wasn't it?
Oh, it was the car. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not. But just to get the formalities out of the way, Rasmus, would you like to do the intro for the podcast?
Do I need to do the intro?
Yeah, that's an old tradition we had that somehow got lost in a way, but I think we should bring it back that the guest does the intro.
Welcome to the Making Crude Mistakes podcast. If I'm allowed to talk, Haavard. I'm Rasmus, and I'm invading. And I might be slightly delirious because I've had like 4 hours of sleep tonight. Because
that sounds
I was out.
Sub nice. Why?
Yeah, life choices were made, and I was out early dancing, last night.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was the dancing. Yeah, you got that dancing bug.
Yeah.
So I guess you had fun at least.
I got to bed at 5
That sounds like fun.
in the morning. And then had to get up at 9 to meet a client.
Yeah, that was when the planning fell apart.
Yes, because I was out, I was having fun, and then they texted me and saying like, "Are we still on for tomorrow?" And then I was like, "Oh fuck, I guess we are."
It's always nice arriving at a client in a taxi on a.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, but
The walk of shame
was,
to the client.
Yeah, I appreciated arriving early enough in the workshop so I can pretend to be busy and doing things while actually having just arrived minutes before them.
Yeah. Banging with really cold steel. And
So then I'm guessing you have that function like a lot of people have at their cabin, that you can call the forge like on your phone and preheat it. So when you arrive, it's already
Nope.
steaming and clanking. And no, okay.
Like I solve my problems with hammers. That doesn't go well at a distance.
I was thinking of kind of Ruth Goldberg machine of hammers hitting each other, tick, 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 and then starting the forge and putting steel in it. And
there is an old trick where you can forge steel cold hard enough until it starts to glow and use that to light the fire.
that sounds hard.
It takes a bit of effort.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's. Oh, I'm plumbing the depths of my GCSE science. Is that going to be kinetic energy? Not kinetic energy, is it?
No, you take kinetic energy and it's transformed into heat energy into material. And if you do that enough, you can bring something that is room temperature up to 600-800 degrees.
So it's the slapping chicken to cook it, but
Yes.
hard style.
Basically. Except that we can actually do this and not destroy the chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
But I was looking for your phone number to add you to the WhatsApp group, and I stumbled onto your webpage. And then I also scrolled down the various courses. And speaking of hammers, there is a course coming up, how to make your own hammer.
Yeah.
That sounds... Because a hammer solves a lot of my problems. Because everything in my workshop is a hammer, if they're just close enough and I need them. But yeah, maybe if I made myself a hammer.
We can pretend that will solve all of your problems. We both know they won't, because even in my workshop, with the stupendous amount of hammers I have, still I'll end up using the angle grinder every once in a while just because it's the nearest thing.
Yeah. I mean, if you as a tool maker, if you made all your, angle grinders, drills, whatever, Milwaukee, Bosch, if they just had all our battery packs have a striking surface of metal underneath. I would swap brand any day.
That sounds like it invites problems, though.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I wouldn't mind having some reinforced angle grinders and battery packs. But...
But hammer with occasional extra surprise lithium fire.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
I think the major problem if you would encase the batteries in some kind of steel thing, then it would last much longer. And I don't think the companies making them would like that.
Yeah, there's that. Bloody planned obsolescence.
Yeah. It's fine. We fixed the fire problem. We've encased everything in lead and then steel and then a titanium shell over the top of it. Only problem is it weighs a ton. It needs 4 people to lift it. But it's very
makes it
safe.
harder for thieves as well. So
yeah.
Yeah. I speaking of weight, I got a surprise message from the government yesterday.
Oh no.
It was on behalf of the police, and it was something about weapons, and what? And of course, I've been sick of the last couple of days, and like the nerves are a bit worn. So like, oh, what is this? So I logged on, and it turns out they're turning the national rifle registry into a digital solution, and of course they transfer all the data they have on you onto this database, and they ask you to go in and verify that everything is correct, because this is the government. They might not have everything together archival wise. So I went in there, and yes, everything is okay, but I haven't registered an approved type of like a weapons cabinet with serial numbers and everything, because that is something that is required, and that needs to be either bolted to the floor or the wall, unless it's 150 kilos or more. Then you don't have to bolt it to anything, and that got me thinking.
Is that 150 kilo full or empty?
That's a good question.
Because I mean, we just talked about lead. That solves some issues.
Yeah.
Just a lot of hammers, then it's solved.
Yeah, so if you have a cabinet that's not light enough, but you don't want to fix it, yeah, melting lead and just pouring it in the bottom of the cabinet should solve a lot of things.
Fixed
I mean,
it.
melting and pouring lead is kind of fun no matter what. So, yeah.
I see only benefits.
Exactly.
Introducing fire to firearms. No problems.
I would take the firearms out before I pour molten lead into the
you're
cabinet.
so boring.
Yes, I'm sorry.
You wouldn't even leave the ammunition at the bottom?
I never thought in this company that I would be the adult one, but here we are.
That's usually what happens when I'm in the conversation for some reason.
So yes, Rasmus, I'm sure that a lot of our listeners know who you are, but for those who don't, do some kind of introduction of yourself and tell us what you've been doing the last couple of whatevers you feel like.
Well, I'm a full-time blacksmith, and I've been running my own blacksmithing shop for 12 years now.
That's a long time.
I am realizing. It doesn't feel long when you're doing it, and then suddenly you stop and think and look back and go like, oh shit, it's been a while.
But you've moved between quite many workshops, haven't you?
Yeah, but we don't talk about it because then Stian has like some Tourette's triggering. But yeah, currently I have a nice workshop in an old forge outside of Oslo, or in Oslo, but outside the city center. Which
a very nice one.
I think it's kind of cool. As far as I figured out, for those people that has been in Oslo and seen the Naked Statue Park, all of the ironwork around that park apparently was done in my forge.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
That would be Frognerparken, Vigelandsparken.
Yeah. The one with the naked baby that always gets stolen. That's yeah. It's a bit like that what's it made out of? The hay goat that in Sweden
in
that the Gävlebocken
they always try to burn down.
Yeah. They just arrested a guy I saw, like, what? I mean, it's become tradition now. You build it up and then someone tries to burn it down. It's just the way it is. So yeah, I mean, if they caught him, it's like, all right, 1-0 to us, but you don't need to go and arrest people. But maybe it's just me.
As far as I understood, it's been quite a recurring problem over the years, though, with that straw goat like spontaneously catching fire as someone is running away from the scene.
Yeah.
Weird.
And then sometimes they catch someone with like a sooty face and smelling like petrol, and then someone used, I think, fire arrows, which is kind of medieval. I like it.
Yeah,
and then so it's like, try to be creative, not do what they did last year, and then try to find a new way to burn it down and not get caught. So I think it's fun. Every year I cheer for someone to actually get to burn it down. But
agreed. It's a Norwegian pastime, making fun of weird things happening in Sweden.
Yeah. I mean, it's a never-ending story. There's always something to, yeah.
We're just happy that you acknowledge that we exist. So
Exactly.
Oh,
We're still early on in the year. It might change.
Yeah.
But then back at the blacksmithing thing, I mean, if you moved several shops, has all of them been old blacksmithing shops, or have you made some from scratch? And how do you do that? Do you need something special?
Preferably building materials that don't catch fire.
Okay, check. Yes.
Other people tend to appreciate that. I try to tell people that it's really hard to get steel to catch fire, so I'm not really too worried about it. But people then point at the wooden walls and such, and I don't understand the message.
No. And then a solid floor, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want quicksand, if that's what you mean.
No.
That sounds interesting.
That's a fear I had since I was a little kid reading Donald Duck. I thought quicksand would be a bigger problem in my life than it turned out it was. So yeah.
You haven't traveled enough.
No, that's fair enough.
But yeah, I have had a couple of workshops, and it's been like a couple of old barns. I was at the museum when I had like the old forge there, which was a timber frame building. And then before the current one, I was at an old, funnily enough, an old industrial building that was before it became a makerspace. It was the headquarters for Bandidos in Oslo.
Cool.
Yeah, so I've used their old barbecue, which is not really something to be proud of, but it's just kind of a fun anecdote.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then I do a lot of everything in metal, mostly, sadly, sensible things. But on the occasion, there are like 8-year-olds that come up to me and want to buy a Viking sword, and I'm very happy to oblige. And there's a lot of classes and teaching and writing. For some reason, I ended up being one of the editors of the Scandinavian blacksmithing magazine. So I have to talk to Danish and Swedish people all the time now, which is interesting. And I'm writing a book on blacksmithing as well, school book on blacksmithing.
Ooh, nice.
Very nice.
And I think that covers most of it. I mean, I tend to do a lot of different things and then forget about them. So I am on all of the social things, except I apparently can't remember what I post there.
Yeah.
Well, who remembers? Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Any of us does. It's all made up anyway. But I mean, your workshop seems like a nice size for a blacksmith shop, but it's also rather filled with stuff and not so much space for actual blacksmithing.
Yeah. No, I think it's better now since you were there last, KJ.
Okay, yeah.
Because the workshop space in itself is more than enough and really nice and big if you were only one person working there and don't do classes regularly and don't start like an metal blacksmithing tool reselling emporium, because then you sort of end up with a lot less space. So I currently have 70 square meters of workshop and then 100 square meters of storage for anvils and post vices and hammers and fly presses and like all the other things.
So the steel addiction has gotten that bad. It requires more space.
I can stop anytime, I promise.
But I think it's what amazes me most about that is that how much anvils and vices and thongs and whatnot that exists still to this day.
Yeah,
because you post pictures twice a day with a carload that you just happen to stumble over. I'm like,
feels like it at least.
Yeah, when is? I mean, it was a huge industry in Norway for many years, but at some point, I mean, Rasmus should have every last bit that ever exists anymore. Kind of feels
the clue is most of my customers are like older people, they're retired. So I sell them tools, they use them, they die, I can buy the tools back and sell them on again. It's a circular economy.
Aha. So you have just done like everybody else today. It's basically a subscription.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. You're buying the tools, that's the impression you have. But then when you don't need the tools anymore, I can come and buy them off to you again.
So that's why you give people the kind of receipt that everyone jokes about. If my wife knew what I actually paid for my tools, you give them a receipt at just half of the value, and then when you come back, either they're senile enough that you don't remember what they paid for it, or it's the wife that you see, I can pay it back for. I'm paid for the same that he bought it for. So,
I mean, I will neither confirm nor deny.
But then the more cynical of us then might suspect that you have created this little ecosystem that you're not having courses because you like people. It's just like giving them the feeling that, oh, this is something that I might be able to do. And then, of course, you need some tools to get you going. So you sell them the tools.
Mm-hmm.
And then they die and you get the tools back, and then it's another course, and then they buy the tools. And I mean, it's a business model, and if you've been at it for 12 years, it's nice that you can actually keep it up.
Yeah, no, it's going surprisingly well. I am dreaming of having like the big fancy storefront at some point, and I want a sign that just says like "Dead Man's Tools."
Dead Man's Tools, please step inside so I can enable you.
Yeah, exactly. First hammer is free.
It's very much a pusher.
But honestly, like that's one of the big benefits of doing. I mean, I started buying all the tools because I was teaching, and people came up to me and they were super hyped and really excited to do more blacksmithing, but they couldn't find any of the tools, and I was sitting there like with like the mental Rolodex of like. But there's so many online on like Finn and Facebook Marketplace and eBay and such. Like you can just buy them, and they would go like, "But I can't find them, or they're far away." And then I go, "How much are you willing to pay? We can talk. I can figure things out for you. You can just come and pick it up." And then things have escalated, and now I'm sitting at auction sites around Europe and in the UK and buying things and having it shipped over by the pallet.
Yeah.
So how far is the longest an animal have traveled to get to you?
I have one that's from South Germany. I think that's the furthest away now.
That is pretty far.
I have one from like southwestern France that's currently at Kjell's place in Hamburg that I haven't gotten to Norway yet, and that might be further when it gets here. But I have actually sent an anvil to Australia.
That seems
that's
insane.
ridiculous. Surely they have them.
Oh, they do, but this doesn't make any sense at all. But there were two Irish brothers that moved to Sydney, and they wanted a Swedish anvil.
I mean, Swedish steel is known for its quality, but then again, Australia has been mining iron ore for as long as I have known. So
yeah, they had their own industry. Like they during World War II, I think they got a proper telling off for continuing to sell steel to the Japanese Empire during the war.
Yeah.
I've never wanted something that much that I was willing to pay shipping on an anvil all over the world.
Well, this wasn't all that. I mean, yeah, they wanted to pay for that, and they know that everything costs a lot to get down there. But also, I found an anvil for them that was like at 34 kilos, so I could send it as a 35 kilo parcel.
Well, if they want it,
so instead of on the pallet
and
the expensive shipping and all of that, at least they got the cheaper option, but it was still like 200 euros or something.
Yeah, and I think the Norwegian Postal Service, they have, I think 35 kilos is a limit, and then it's the size of the box. But I think an anvil, you don't need too much bubble wrap around that when shipping. So do
For
you
the
even
other
need
parcels.
do you even need a box? You just put the shipping label on it and like, here you go.
So here's actually something I do remember I posted on socials. I did get an anvil in the mail recently, and it was, to the extent that it was wrapped, it had the label stuck on it, and it was just sitting on the shelf in the post office.
That one is mine.
Yeah, I was like, I am shipping a lot of heavy things and a lot of things that are rather durable and or have like sharp and pointy sides. So I'm not protecting my thing by packing it in. I'm protecting the world from my thing.
Yeah.
I add bubble wrap to it so that if someone drops it on something, it doesn't crush the other parcels.
Or it can still crush the other parcels, just in a nice, soft way.
A soft crush.
Yeah, a gentle squeeze.
It's like being smothered with a pillow. I mean, it's nicer than being choked around the neck, I guess. Unless
A
you're into
weighted
those kind of
pillow.
things, of course. I mean, it's a weird world. But it was fun though. I think I just got a thicknesser, and that was around 35, 40 kilos. But it doesn't look as heavy in the box. And of course, I sent it to the local post office, which is just a small cupboard on the side of our local co-op. I'm like, yeah, I got a package, and they scanned the code, and I saw the package, and like this young guy just tippy-toed in, and I was gonna pick it up and bring it to you, and like, yeah, good luck with that. And it just oh, all right, he needed to get a trolley, and of course he struggled getting it onto the table, and of course, I, being the asshole that I am, I already had a trolley on the other side because I know this is heavy enough, so I'm just gonna bring it straight onto it so I don't have to bend my back. And like, yeah, I'm just watching that 20-year-old struggling with it.
Watching someone else ruin their back.
Yep.
I had that experience a few times when like I'm sending like a guillotine tool, which is a 10-kilo tool, but sometimes it's flat pack, so it looks like a big book, kind of, or reasonable sized hardback book. So I hand that over to them, and they go kudunk. But sorry, Phil, you were saying?
No, I was just going to say they're getting paid to ruin their back, so yeah, stand there and watch.
Bring the popcorn.
Yeah.
But it's nice to know. I think I remembered, was it last year, you asked if someone was going from the UK to Norway because there was a pallet there of various heavy objects. And I just made a mental note that I need to talk to Rasmus about that, because I'm looking at eBay mostly, because I want around a 10, 15, 20 horsepower small steam engine. And those are a lot easier to find in the UK. They weren't as common in Norway, so Germany, but UK, you can still get them at a reasonable price. But of course, they weigh as much as an anvil, so the shipping costs. A lot of the people selling them, no, they won't even take it to the post office and wrap it for shipping. So, yeah, I have been looking into the reality of me sometimes just I need to get a van and go to UK over a weekend if I'm ever going to get myself a proper working engine.
Or this is me enabling you. I'm already planning to do a flea market tool haul in beginning of April.
Now we're talking.
Of course, I'm just sticking everything on pallets and having it shipped over because, first off, my wallet and the size of my car don't match. So the things I want to buy, I can't bring home in my own car. And secondly, it is actually a fair bit cheaper to just have other people do the heavy lifting for you.
Yeah.
And just like, I go to flea market, I pick up the thing, it goes in boot, I take the boot onto pallet, and then the things in the boot onto pallet, and then other people with big trucks come pick it up, and it shows up at my workshop.
It's just that knowing those knowing where to find those people with the trucks and that sort of thing to hand off the pallets to. That's the only problem in that equation.
And it's a slight bit of a hassle the first couple of times to find a shipping agent that will deal with all of the weird shit you want to have shipped.
Yeah. I mean, shipping agent things seems like a total its own universe. That's weird.
To some extent, like you just need to get your head around the basics of it. Like things need to have an invoice for it, so you have a value for the insurance, and they will tax you the import on that. And you might need to have like the tariff code for it. So it's like, this is the type of item it is.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's kind of like, well, as a private person, I don't know. As a business, it's kind of like you talk to people. I have heavy thing. Can you send heavy thing? Yes, we can ship. We can fit heavy thing on the next boat. Cool.
Is heavy thing illegal? No, then fine.
Yeah. That's kind of the conversation. At some point, they don't really care. But there is a law in the UK where like things older than, is it 100 years or something? Is slightly more. It's certainly antique and slightly more tricky to get out of the country.
You need some kind of permission, so you're not stealing some crown or jewels or something like that.
Yeah, cultural heritage and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because that's something that the stuff are only allowed to go to the UK, not from it.
Exactly.
Historically,
that's the same in Norway as well. And I encountered this when I worked at the Norwegian Directorate for Cultural Heritage, because there's a lot of people owning old boats that are older than 100 years. And then there is a bigger market in the UK for these nice wooden boats. In Norway, people are not paying as much for them, but if you have a good specimen, you can sell it in the UK for 10 times the price in Norway. And then they get stopped on the border and like, no, you're not allowed to. Have you applied to bring that outside? No, so you're making yourself a criminal. You're glad we got to you before you got to ship the boat out. And then the Norwegian government can say that, no, this is our cultural heritage. So, you're free to sell it within Norway, but not outside the country. But of course, it became more lenient when you understand that you could keep it in Norway and it would just perish, or you could sell it and it would still exist in amongst people who actually take care of the boats. So it's a trade-off. It might not be in the country, but at least it's in good shape. So, yeah.
It's being used and cared for and all of that.
Exactly. So it's the same game that you're in. You're just saving the anvils of the world. And now also steam
at this point,
engines.
I'm basically running an anvil shelter.
Yeah, when you have the shop front, the dead man's tools, and then you have the anvil shelter, which is a small like when you go in and you want to get a puppy, you have like small bins, and then there's a small anvil, the cute one, and then the bigger one, and the one at the back with a broken horn that never gets adopted, and and then you have the kind of
it's almost like you've been to my workshop.
Yeah, almost.
You're gonna have to start that subscription now. For just £5 a month, you can look after these anvils.
Yeah,
but you adopt them from a distance. That's lovely.
Yeah, that's the best, because then you don't have to. They can be in Rasmus's shop, and he can take care of them. He knows how to take care of them. So you just, £5 a month, and you have your own anvil.
And if I can upsell them, so if you pay 10 quid a month, they will also get a gentle banging every now and again.
Yeah, you can make one of those S-hooks or something, and you get a newsletter once a month, like, your anvil has been used this week, and it's happy as ever,
I like that idea.
It's good to keep these old tools happy by giving them a good banging now and again. That's true.
Who doesn't like a good banging now and then? Yeah.
Now and again. Well, we're all over 40.
You guys are. I'm not.
All right.
Speak for yourself. Yeah.
You have to send out the plush toy anvil. They're nice and light.
I have one here.
Oh, right, there we go.
I got one in the treasure trade.
Amazing.
Of course you did.
I also got a very suggestive hammer that goes with it.
For the viewer at home.
Oh, the lighthouse. Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah. Innocent enough.
Yeah. So the plushie anvil I have was made by Roxy, a fellow maker out of Hamburg. They are superb at like nitty things, and I have a plushie anvil. So if I feel lonely at night, I have something to cuddle.
I was gonna say that. I mean, we amongst ourselves, we know a lot of makers who are in the clothing or fabric industry, and you could probably get a limited production run of plush anvils that you could sell in your shop. So there's a lot of business ideas here tonight.
Silent smithing.
For those late night sessions.
When you want to bang something, but don't wake up the neighbors. Yeah,
the taglines are writing themselves.
Does your banging wake up the neighbors? Yeah,
exactly. The Residents Association are not going to complain about this one.
But speaking of the tariffs, I actually sent something, and it wasn't heavy, but I sent something to the Americas, and then Norway did not send packages to the United States of, not sure how it goes anymore. But I sent something, and it was more expensive to send it than the contents of the package, and of course, you need to pay the tariffs on everything. So then I got the practice in finding the tariffs numbers on stickers for the podcast and whatnot, and spent quite a bit of time just filling out the shipping label for something as easy as here are some stickers and a gift. That's weird.
I also realized though, to some extent, the customs people don't really care that much as long as the code is vaguely correct to what you're sending. Like, you don't need to be super specific about it. Sometimes there's a code for just like general item in this category.
Yeah, that covers most of what I do, general items. So yeah.
So most of the things I would have to send is kind of like, it's generally speaking, metal tool.
Yes, steel. I'm usually in the wood or candy, so that there was a code for confectionery or whatever, and then everything is a gift, and it costs £10. It's weird. No matter what I make and how much, it's all £10. It's weird.
It's the same with the animals and such I get out of the UK. All of them are younger than 100 years, weirdly enough.
99 years old.
Weird. Yeah, let's just look. Oh my God, Phil! Come on, maths.
Yes.
No, I can't do it. Doesn't matter.
A for effort.
Yep.
Well,
exactly.
yeah.
But I just got to ask there, Phil. You're at the disco tonight. What's up with that? It's green, then it's purple, then it's red. It's blinking all over the place. It's like
Something
Studio
is glowing,
54.
like a tesseract or something.
This thing here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's my mood light.
Okay.
So your mood changes constantly.
Well, it adds a bit of visual interest or visual annoyance, depending on who you are.
Visual difference, at least.
Yeah, exactly. It's. Oh, hello. Can I get? Yes. Here we go. It's rechargeable. It came from Lidl, and it cost £4.
I was gonna ask. So it's not something you've made though, but at £4, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah. And somewhere. And it also comes with a remote control for £4.
That's not shabby.
So you can turn it off remotely, or turn it on, or just change the colour, or get it to do things. It's £4. It's ridiculous.
If you get it to like blink and change colors fast enough, you can probably test people for epilepsy.
Yeah. Well, it's got a strobe mode. Let's try and turn it on, shall we?
And see if any of the podcast listeners get triggered.
If they hear the blinking.
Can you have audio epilepsy?
I had a friend that would faint if I whistle. That might be something.
Maybe.
Oh, like those fainting goats. It's like
sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
She has like a neurological miswiring, so high frequency sounds just trigger pain center, and then brain goes off.
Oh,
that sounds inconvenient.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, not healthy. Very surprising. She lived to turn 30, but for a little while in our late teens, almost fun to be at a party and then someone accidentally whistle and she goes, "Ooh."
Yeah. It's one of those, how often do you whistle, really? But I mean, if that is your condition, then often enough, I'm guessing still. So
I would be so scared for the world, because I mean, just if I increase the volume on my headphones to the limit, it goes beep really loudly.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing, I wouldn't trust anything if I had that.
I was
car or train screeching.
Yeah.
I was thinking in a car radio, and then the whistle channel comes on, and then like, so yeah.
New type of Russian roulette.
Yeah, that's weird though. And I saw this. I find this amusing because I find weird things amusing. But there is
we have noticed.
Yeah, it's hard to hide. There is a couple on TikTok and Instagram where she gets the gag reflex of other people making gag sounds. So of course, and they made millions of views of him just running in on her and like, huh! And then she can't help herself, so she starts making sounds like she's throwing up. And
that's mean.
Yeah, but
really mean.
I think she likes it, and they made a whole universe and a channel out of that. So it's like running in, and then you have these. You might not be old enough to remember it, but KJ and Phil, when we were kids, you have these tubes in the 90s and there was this moving object in that tube. So when you turned it, it made like wow, this cow sound, and then you flipped it down and wow. And that is enough to trigger her. So of course he just buys those in bulk and just throw them at her. And when she catches them, they make the sound, and then she's like, and then she can't do anything because she's gagging. So it's yeah,
still mean, but also hilarious.
Exactly.
Yes, that is correct.
Things people do for entertainment, eh?
Yeah.
And if you can make $1 million out of it, then why not?
Like podcasting.
Yeah, the money cow that is podcasting. That is.
Yeah. I mean, immediately after we finish this conversation, I'm just going to be counting out some more money.
Yes, you have reached your the money threshold, haven't you, Phil?
Oh yes.
Oh, you on the Scrabble video?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It has just tipped me over into having enough people and watch hours to start really watching that copper roll in.
That's actually really frustrating because I've been super close to getting over that limit so many times, and then they have moved the limit.
Yeah.
So I had like 890 subs when there was 1,000 sub limit, and then now you need stupid amounts of watch hours or short views or something like that. And it's like, I was this close like a year ago when a silly video went viral, and now it's a year ago. It doesn't count anymore.
Yeah, no. To all the tens of thousands of views, actually they count for nothing because they just got you to the line.
Yeah.
But once you're over the line, you have to start again. But you know, it's nice, it's fun, but it is just a hobby. So I'm trying not to get all tied up in the stats and what's this and what's that and what can I do. So no, just keep making stuff that's fun. That I find
it's
fun.
Kind of like getting a good high score in Pac-Man or something.
Yeah,
it's like it's cool, it's fun, you can show people, and then it doesn't matter anymore.
No, it doesn't actually mean anything.
The saddest thing though is that you have a lot of statistical tools in all the social media, but in YouTube especially, but some of them are not, like, you don't have enough subscribers or views that we have any meaningful data to show you, because you can see the age and the gender of your followers and which countries they are from and what hours of day they are watching. But some of those statistics, you need a certain amount of people before they can extract something meaningful out of it, and they just no, you don't have enough to for us to give you any decent numbers here. So yeah,
that's kind of demoralizing, going like, oh, I wonder how I can min max and specialize, and I go like, no, there's not enough data, sorry.
No.
Get good first, then you can learn.
Yeah, so just guess and hopefully you hit some mark, and then yeah. But then again, it is a hobby, and it's nice that you can just do your weird thing and not having to chase, all right, if I start doing this, then I might get more views, and then you just end up going to be like anyone else, and then that is boring.
Yeah. Now the conversation is, shameless plug, now the conversation is changing slightly over to being adjacent to my podcast as well, setting up shop.
Yeah.
Like actually talking about business stuff.
So this is nothing new for you then. You're already on a podcast. So it's a podcast within a podcast.
Like don't overthink it.
Okay.
You'll just go cross-eyed. Or I will.
I've been overthinking things since I was 10. So
I mean, everyone has a podcast. I mean, you had one before that as well, 2/3 Focused.
Yes.
How is it going from having that with this was a talk about anything vaguely maker related to now having one that is kind of laser focused on one part of this?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest difference was kind of 2/3 Focus was mostly just entertainment, and it was keeping in touch with a couple of friends and sort of like, oh, I've been thinking about this thing, or here's something I'm wondering about, and having someone to discuss it with, but always trying to keep it sort of entertaining. With setting up shop, all of us are sort of working towards turning what was a hobby into a side business, into a full-time job. And that's me doing the blacksmithing, being the youngest and ironically having done my craft the longest. Then there's Heidi Jacobs out of Pittsburgh in the US, who's a potter. And then Dan Tarrant out of Somerset in England, doing wood turning. And we're all sort of having this dream of going towards there. So it's also really, really nice to have a couple of other friends where you check in on the regular, you keep each other accountable. And then also, because we have so vastly different ranges of expertise. Like Dan has worked in a woodworking shop, tool shop, a lumberyard for a good while now. Heidi has a background in graphic design and marketing. And then I am a monkey with a hammer. So we all bring something interesting to the conversation. And it's so, but yeah, I mean, we're still friends, so we still try to have a fun conversation about it. But it's kind of this really helpful for me personally to have someone else to go like, I'm wondering about doing this thing. Can we brainstorm that? Or here's like tips I have picked up going to markets for other people that want to start doing markets. Because every once in a while, all of us were getting messages of that sort of like, because I was showing my booth off and people go like, oh, like, is that a good market? Do you have any tips to going and doing them and starting there and stuff like that? So we sort of started just doing podcasts around that kind of thing. If that makes sense, if that answered your question. I think I rambled on a bit.
It was a vague question, so it was close enough.
It's a bit sad though, because it accumulated a lot of questions that I now have, where you're just going to answer, yeah, you should listen to the podcast then, and that's it.
First and foremost, yes.
Yes.
But I can also be kind on occasion.
Oh, so okay.
But I mean, it is a really nice podcast. If you are into any kind of maker podcast, this is a good one to have. Even if you're not interested in selling stuff at market or in starting a small maker business and that sort of thing. I mean, when I listen to it, I feel like, oh yeah, I'm reminded that no, going to markets and making stock and selling stuff, that is not for me. And it's good to have that reminder as well, because
it's interesting that a friend of mine, she is starting a side hustle as a baker, and of course the plan is to go around to various markets. So she's also spending this winter building like a food truck, but a baker's truck.
Wow, cool.
And of course, to make it easier on herself, she has a bakery at home, so it's just a way of selling. So you don't have to make it in the van. It's easier, and the regulations and whatnot. And then we thought, all right, she wanted to go to the Christmas market at the Big Day, but did not manage to go there this year. And I said I could join and just stand there and drink coffee and be pretty and bring in the customers that are interested in rugged, bearded, ginger fellows. It's a
narrow different skills.
Yeah. And then I thought it would be cool then I could sell something like the butter knives, because she could package those and sell them with the cookies for like a gift set. So all right. I have the CNC, I have the stock, so I make a few of them, and then I got the cardboard boxes that match in size, and then you get this wooden wool to make it look rustic and presentable in the box, and then you have to make a label. And so I tried all the steps into making something that you could actually sell to someone, and it is a lot of work. And I just got my suspicion confirmed that it doesn't work very well with my ADHD brain. I like one project, make it cool, and then I jump on to the next one. And I was trying to envision, all right, if she needs 100 of these, how long is it going to take me to make it? A long time. And then, of course, as a side hustle, it takes up the time from doing other stuff, basically the work that pays for all my hobbies. So it's like, yeah, it is. And I've been playing around making a web page where you can sell stuff, but I'm not making things to sell, because only one side needs to be pretty for YouTube. But then there is a guy, he's a woodworker, Sal Trearberg. He sent a message not long ago because he's trying to make a maker's web space, not in a traditional sense that is very niche down on the various kind of making, but if you make something, and if you make one or if you make 5, if there's something you want to sell, if there's knitting or anything, then there should be an online place where it's very easy to set up and sell without it taking a lot of commission. Because Etsy, you're drowning in AI dribble, and it's a lot of work setting it up, and they take a lot of percentages just to have a site running. So you spend too much time setting up shop than to making and running the shop. So I said I could be if there are some people like, if you want to test it out to see how it works, then raise your hand. So I just put my hand up. I can always be a beta tester for that to see if that's because then you can make.
Would that be like things. Norway specific, or
I'm not sure yet. It's just like right in the beginning of the idea. So I think it was just looking for people that are interested. And it seems like a lot of makers have, I mean, it took him a couple of days, and then he posted an Instagram post where it like, yeah, he's been amazed people were really interested, because there is a lot of makers out there that, yeah, I could make a few things to sell, but it's not my livelihood. So yeah, if you have 2 of something and you want to sell it, you can, upload, sell, and someone can buy it.
Yeah. You are touching on something I've I think is really important, and that we have discussed on the podcast that is coming out next week or the week if so after that or something. But that is, it's important to clearly define what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because like if your workshop time, your making time is just for fun, then yeah, fuck off and not do any of the boring, tedious things that just sucks the life out of you. But if you want your hobby to be self-sustaining, like monetary wise, if you want that bit of commitment, if you are in a position where maybe you need to make some extra money, then you need to also accept that, well, some parts of my hobby then will be work. But then you can structure it so that you hopefully are able to do most of the things you still enjoy. But just realize that, well, for every 5 hours in the workshop, I need to spend an hour writing product descriptions and email people and fulfilling orders and things like that. And as soon as, at least from how the way my mind works, as soon as that's clearly defined, and I sort of put out the structure and go like, okay, so I pay in boring work to do fun work, and the ratio is in a way I like it, then yeah, that works for me.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable.
That's all.
Sorry,
very
that
sensible.
wasn't the impression I was trying to give.
But that's I realized that basically sums up my life then, because it's just that ratio is wrong. I spend a lot of hours doing the boring work stuff to get to do the fun thing. So I'm clear that you need to do some of the boring stuff to support the fun stuff. I just want that ratio to be the other way around.
So my secret trick is to make it your entire life and existence.
Yes.
That's one way to go.
But that it were so simple.
It helps being young, stupid, and not having kids.
Yeah, because having kids wasn't the money making scheme I was going to say. Well, I was led to believe it was, but nobody ever told me that.
It's a long game.
Yes, it's a long game.
I know you produce these things and then you just say, what? I can't send them up chimneys or to the labour house anymore. When did this happen?
That's why you have to read up on the laws beforehand.
Yeah, but I'm guessing this is something that you have in I mean it's universal, but at some point you have like allowance money for kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a question. What's the I remember I got allowance and I had to do chores around the house to get a sense of nothing is for free. But what's the limit between allowance and child labor? I mean, I'm asking for a friend, a maker. That's.
I think actually the definition is somewhere around amount of hours spent and whether it's in the house or not.
Yeah.
Plus minus how dangerous it is.
Yeah, I would say that as well.
Oh, okay.
The chimney is out of the question.
No go.
All right, duly noted. Yeah.
Yeah. But there is a place in Norway you can go and pick emeralds.
Oh.
Really?
So a lot of the emeralds actually that is in the British Royal Bling Blings, I forgot the name, came from Mistberget in Norway, just north of Oslo.
Oh, that's interesting.
And you can pay like 15 euros or something, and you can go around and spend a day looking for shiny things.
All right, so we blinged out the British Empire and we supported the entire Netherlands with oak. So yeah, I mean we
and ice. We sold a shit ton of ice.
Yeah,
which is also a kind of a genius little money making scheme, because you make it in winter, people want it in summer, and then they want a lot more in summer, but there's not more.
No, I actually. I know this because I made a YouTube video on me going out and bringing ice from an old lake where they made ice
Yes, right.
And then of course I fucked up the battery lifetime of my camera, and then it ended up being summer, so I had to finish the video and make a gag out of it. But there is a lake, yeah, but there is a lake where my wife is from that they made ice, and of course they dragged it down to the sea with horses, and then they shipped it to the aristocracy of of Europe. And it was a booming industry. And I saw a documentary not long ago. It was one guy who was sitting on the top of that. They call him the Ice King, and he was like one of the richest ever.
Was that the Veritasium video?
Yeah, might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, there was an illness where there was a doctor that needed a lot of ice because he needed to cool down his patients, and of course he ran out of ice, and it was expensive, and it was a commodity, and he set out it should be some way of making cold. And then he basically invented the refrigeration process, and then of course just overnight he just rendered that entire industry obsolete. And I find that amazing. You can have an established industry. It's like the car industry. You had the horses, and then of course that supported the stable, the leather workers, of course the iron bashers, and all of that just disappeared in 2 decades because the car and the horse became a novelty, and yeah. So how quickly things can just like disappear because someone get a bright idea.
There's a lot of those instances throughout history, and as a part of writing the book, I have a small tendency that on occasion I might dive into unreasonably deep rabbit holes. One of them, I wanted to write just a short little chapter sort of describing a little bit about how the Industrial Revolution changed the craft of blacksmithing. And then, like 10 pages later, I'm still not done writing that little chapter. That was supposed to be short and sweet and compact.
But I guess there's a lot to say about just that part as well.
Yeah, but it's like I wanted, in this case, I wanted to actually talk about, like, okay, the steam engine, the concept of using steam for something. The ancient Greeks had that in a toy. Yeah. Why they were never able to harness that into a machine, uncertain. But the first steam engine that was able to do some work, and that was basically just being a water pump, was invented in the late 1600s. But the only really good steam machine was made by Watt in the mid 1700s, so like 50, 60 years afterwards. And it's sort of this weird thing of like, oh, the initial steam engine meant that you could more easily and cheaper dig deeper for coal, which meant it was cheaper to produce more steel, which meant that it was cheaper to produce more tools from steel. All of this being built, especially on Britain, being 100 years ahead of the rest of Europe in their agricultural revolution, meaning they had surplus people that were just sitting about thinking and or going off borrowing things around the world.
Borrowing things.
Borrowing things and labor also.
Yes, they had a very creative labor scheme going on for a while as well.
Goods and commodities, I think, is what they're called.
But it's sort of this fascinating thing in my mind of just seeing how everything cascades after each other. And like this effect causes this, which enable these other things. Like one weird thing is like the train system. That's based upon the first train that I was able to find written about, or the first railway. That's the correct word for it. Was in ancient Greece, across the Isthmus of Corinth, where there were whole boats across this tiny bit of land instead of sailing around all the big bit. That was built 700 years BC or something. And then you move forward into the 1500s, and then you have the Germans who invented tracks that they had in mines, so they more easily could get the coal and iron and the ore out of the mines using sleighs that was running on tracks. Then those workers were imported to like Yorkshire and like northern UK, where they developed a bigger system for that, where in the end you would have one horse pulling a ton of ore or coal downhill down to the ports. And as that load increased up to the ton, like first they had all wooden wheels and wooden rails. They wanted to increase the weight of everything, so they needed to have ironclad rails that was wearing the wheels too much, so they needed the iron wheels, and then they needed fully iron rails. But in the heaviest part of like when they have like steam engines and steam locomotives, some of those rails were so soft they would need to be changed out every other week.
Oh, what a boring job to change the rails for the railroad every other week.
But I'm really looking forward to reading. I mean that book, but also that chapter, and that was the one thing that amazed me when I worked for the Directorate of Cultural Heritage. You're trying to take care of a lot of buildings related to old industry and so on. So you need people that to know how do you actually build it? How do you take care of it? So as a subsequent result of that, you're also giving a lot of grants to keep people of old trades alive so that they can bring this knowledge to the next generation, because it doesn't help you if you have an old church if nobody knows how to fix it or build it. Yeah. And of course then how do you make tar, how do you make the proper tools? And so you get to talk to a lot of these people that do a lot of old trades, but it's still possible to live from it today. And that got me thinking, because I also like to think into the future. So at some day someone is gonna have a smart idea, and we don't have to do the things that we do today. I mean, either in the office world or if it's the hobby. And then will we in 30, 40 years be like tradition keepers of the old, and like, am I still gonna like, yeah, this is how we did it in the olden times. This is called a computer. We were sitting at a desk and we were just hammering on these flat things. If you see it, it has a lot of strange symbols on it. We used to call it letters. And then people were like, oh, so you actually manually just, yeah. So you didn't have to just think and it just popped in. No, we had to press these and it makes this sound. And then you had like a shiny thing up on the wall so you can see what you were typing. So it's interesting to see in 40, 50 years how our kids and grandkids will see, like, why did you do the things that you do? Because it will look weird to them.
Yeah, like the concept of phone booths. It's kind of like,
yeah.
Now it's just weird looking libraries.
Yeah.
Obviously, I work in the education sector, and sometimes you blow the kids' minds because you don't think that 2008 or whatever is that long ago, but it is now.
Yeah.
And you explain to them, no, when I was your age, we didn't have the internet. We grew up without it. It didn't exist. It's not like we couldn't afford it. You couldn't have it because it didn't exist. And there was no phones. You went to a phone box if you wanted to have a private conversation because you had one phone in the house and it was in the hallway.
Yeah. Yeah, and we did that, and we went out, like, bye, Mom, I'm going out. All right, be home by the time it's dark. So they did not know where we were. So we were out setting things on fire. And I was lucky enough that I came from a small place where we have 3 phone booths. And of course, we didn't have any. Yeah, but we didn't have any money. But you could call a number and it would ring. And then if they pick up the phone, you could say 1 or 3 before it cut because you didn't put any money on. And that was enough for my parents, that if the phone rings and they can just hear you up in the other end before it's like, doot, out, then all right, it's our kid. He's at one of the 3 phone booths. So they just did a run, and then you got picked up. And it worked flawlessly. It worked 10 out of 10 times. I can't say the same of my several hundred pounds of technology I'm wearing in my pants. So trousers.
You can buy those things off AliExpress, but they never work.
Yeah, the good old days.
Were they though? Were they good?
Yeah.
In some ways.
Exactly.
But I don't want them back.
Oh, I don't know.
It's like don't meet your heroes, and it's the same thing. I mean, you remember your childhood, and at least if you were lucky enough to have a good one, then yeah. If I were sent back and had this, like, oh no, so no, yeah, maybe best not.
Have you sort of on that? Have you ever experienced like a reverse culture shock, where you have been away from home and your own culture for so long that when you come back, you suddenly realize how weird it is?
Yeah.
No, I can't say I have.
So I had that experience after living in Japan as an exchange student and coming back home. And sort of, you get used to all of the weirdness over there, so it starts to feel normal. But then you forget how weird everything is at home, and you come home and you see everything. It was like, what the fuck are we doing? What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get that feeling sometimes now with the international maker community, to be part of that, and you say something that's, I mean, this is obviously how everyone does it, but no, we're the only one who does it this way. We are the weird ones. So, I mean, but you have to experience the world in some way to actually get that.
I mean, yeah,
watching
like,
it from on the outside.
Who but the Swedes would consider eating weaponized herring as being a good choice?
I guess it was that or starvation.
Yeah,
that's been a lot of
the. I'll be really, really hungry.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of those kind of dishes where, like, I mean, I'm starving, I'm famished. This thing looks like it's half rotten. It smells terrible. It's the only thing I got. Let's roll the dice.
Is this or gnawing on a piece of wood?
Exactly, or my boots.
And I'm out of boots.
Sorry. We've already eaten all the cats and dogs.
Yeah, kind of that.
Well, I did not have to go abroad to do this, but I come from a small village, and of course I moved to the big city out of love. So my wife is a city slicker, and of course she's also been all over the place, and she's so fascinated. I mean, to me it makes sense when you're going to the store, spending an hour because you know everyone that you're meeting, and then of course, yeah, how's this and that, and she's like, how can you do anything here? Everybody knows you, everybody sees you. Yep, that's why I moved. But so it is weird. You don't have to even within the limits of this country, if you are out of the small city game for long enough, you realize that that is kind of weird. But sometimes it's also good things. I mean, yeah, you could ask your neighbor, I'm going away for a week, could you do this or that? And of course they would, because you know him. I don't, we've been living here now for 8 years. I don't know the first name of almost any of my neighbors. I say hey to them, but that's about it.
Yeah. And then sort of on the opposite side of that scale, in like rural parts, you always have that one retired person, like always doing crosswords by the window and making notes of all the cars driving around.
Yeah. I was so fascinated by that. My grandparents, they had a house with a brilliant view over the sea, and they were just sitting there. And I never understood why they're just sitting there looking outside of the window. now I kind of understand it. But of course, they knew everyone and they knew everyone's car. So if there was a car driving past, oh, that's John. I guess he's probably been to the pharmacy or something, because he does that on Tuesdays. And sometimes there was a car coming by. It was someone from the city that they did not know. Like, who was that? I never seen that. It was a white Volkswagen. And then my grandmother picked up the phone, landline, of course, and called to her friend a kilometer down the road. There's a white car coming. Do you know how that is? And then, of course, they held the line while they was waiting for that car. No, she didn't know who it was either. And then they called. So, of course, if you drive through that place and they did not know you, there was a telephone signal following you, like in parallel to the road, until someone like, no. And then, of course, they just noted down that car. And then, of course, okay, if he ever comes back, we'll start profiling and make a pattern. So, all right, it's that white Passat. It's every Friday. So, of course, then it's the weekend. So maybe they have a cabin somewhere and they need to go through here. And then, of course, it kind of makes the British detective series, they're always in the countryside. It kind of makes sense now because you have a lot of nosy people.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that basically an old style version of social media? We're just trying to find something to rage about and stalk people and just share information. And
see, the other day there was an outsider. Outsider
Interloper.
Came through. Yeah. Summon the elders. Release the dogs.
Yeah. But I mean, it was a closed loop social media then. You didn't have the random feed, because the outsider just coming in, that was a random post. So
the algorithm has shown you this car. How do you feel about it?
Would you recommend
then after
it
a while, someone actually bumps into them at the grocery store and they start to get some information out and go like, oh, I know something now.
Yeah. It turns out he's the distant cousin of Clara that lives over there. So then they can put a red string on that pin on the wall. So then they have placed you on the map of the small town.
But you're still not fully accepted, even though you're a blood relation.
No, you're never accepted.
Because you have the wrong dialect.
Yeah.
You're an outsider.
Especially in Norway.
Yeah. So is this the
awkward silence that ends the episode? Yes, I think so.
I was going to say, are we drifting into the dialect corner, which is the half pint?
Yeah.
Do you have a special jingle for that?